Hello, hello. Happy Wednesday. I hope you are having a great start to your day. Wherever you're listening to this, if you're in the car driving to work, cleaning up the house, doing some laundry, or even on a walk, I am ready for our solo chat today. It's been a minute. If you're watching the video, you can tell I'm back in my bedroom and we're just going to have a little solo Wednesday for you. Before I get started, I want to mention the creatine that I'm drinking right now. Every morning, I start the morning with electrolytes and creatine, and I feel like it's just helped me with recovery, working out so much, coaching Pilates, and just staying hydrated, especially in the dry winter. It's called Arrival. It's a girl who started it because her mom had cancer and she realized how important creatine is, especially for women. So I want to shout them out. This isn't sponsored. I love it. I mix it in with my electrolytes. I don't even taste a difference in the texture, where I feel like other creatine brands, you can really taste it when you mix it into things. And I will tag them below. Go follow them. Go look at all of their amazing products. Just wanted to start off with a little shout out because that's something that's truly changed my creatine routine, and I'm sure you guys will love it because I absolutely do. Moving into today, the topic is all about discipline. I feel like discipline is something that is not talked about enough, and I think that there's a big shift going on and people are going to start realizing how important it is to be disciplined in your everyday life. There are so many different aspects and ways you can be disciplined. I think it's something that is really going to start to gain popularity with social media and everyday routines and just kind of in our society in general. So I want to break it down to you because I have some interesting thoughts and I want to know if you feel the same way or if this starts to spark any ideas for you. So for some context, I feel like we're in a world of instant gratification. If you have social media, you can sit and scroll and feel dopamine, get that dopamine rush within seconds. You scroll every 10 seconds on a video. If something's over a minute long, it's too long unless you're watching a TV show. And you can order any food to your door. You can order groceries to your house. You don't even have to go to the grocery store anymore. You can order anything on Amazon basically, and it'll be there in 2 days max. Like, that is insane when you think about it on a level of what people had to do 50 years ago, 25 years ago, before cell phones. I was in late junior high school when I got a cell phone. I feel like I'm kind of on the cusp because I didn't grow up a 90s baby, not having phones or computers or anything until later in life, but I am not Gen Z where I had an iPhone at the age of 10. So I feel like I'm kind of that in between. I was born in 2000 and like I said, I got my first phone, I think late junior high school. Computers, we just kind of started to get computers in our classrooms in like 6th grade. They would wheel in the big thing with the chunky MacBooks and then wheel it out. Or we had desktops. Like, you would go to the computer lab, you would go to that specific room that had the giant desktop computers, and your classes would rotate through that room. It's not like you moved, the computer didn't move. And then I think laptops got popular in high school was when my school gave us laptops. Like, you had a laptop for the school year. That started in high school, which is crazy to think. I barely write anything down anymore. And that's why I think a big change that went through schools was like, are kids writing anymore? Do you learn cursive? Because like, I write half cursive, half normal, but like, I don't know if kids are learning how to write cursive anymore. And I feel like that was such a pivotal moment. Or like learning your times tables. Do you just like do it online now? I don't know. So for me, growing up, majority of my schooling was like pen to paper and things like that. Computers and like software technology didn't really start until high school. Then I was in college during COVID, so everything went online. And that was a crazy shift. It was my second semester, my freshman year, everything went online. Tests were online. Everyone was finding ways around it, finding answers. I've had an app on my phone that I would take a picture of a math problem and it would solve it for me. And just like little things like that I think are crazy that we could even do that now. I can't even imagine being in high school or college with AI and ChatGPT. Like, ChatGPT was kind of starting to get popular my last semester of my senior year of nursing school, but that time I wasn't really writing papers as much. But I remember like in every syllabus it was talking about using AI and how to They went from saying you couldn't use AI to the end of the year, like how to cite AI, which is crazy. And I'm sure everyone's using that in like all of their schoolwork now. But that just furthers the idea that like everything is so fast and so simple and at your fingertips. And that's not going to last long. I don't think that people are going to continue to want to put in no effort with things, because where's the purpose in that? And that's where I think a shift is happening from instant gratification, the easiest way to do things, cheat codes, speed, like being the most productive ever, into something that's going to be a little bit harder to contribute to and like show proficiency in, if that kind of makes sense. Like discipline is becoming visible again. Everyone's starting to notice who's taking the time to sit down and learn these things and have intellectual conversations, learn the hobbies that take time. And I think things like that are going to start becoming a lot more popular. Burnout, everyone's getting so burnt out right now. And I think that shifting into a disciplined mindset is going to help people not get burnt out as fast. And I think the shift is going to be bigger in society than we all realize right now. I'm calling it. We're going to look back in 5 years and I'm so going to be right. But even as a society, like people aren't thinking quick, fast, easy anymore. It's like, for example, Marty Supreme, I'm going to see it tonight. I'm so excited. But the way that Timothée Chalamet has talked throughout promoting this film the entire time, he is putting all of his effort into it. He's trying so hard at the award ceremony when he was like, I am going to be one of the greats. I'm putting in effort. I'm putting in work. I'm being seen trying. And this is what I'm going to accomplish. I'm going to do it. That's not just something you can't just like say, I'm going to be one of the best actors of all time. Like he has dedicated his entire life, his work to this, doing so many different films from Willy Wonka to Marty Supreme, Dune, all of the crazy things he's done. And standing up there in front of all of these amazing people and being like, yeah, I'm going to do this. Like, watch out. I think that was a moment as a society, people watching that were like, oh shit, like doing something that seems impossible, that you have to have discipline to do, is something people are going to start striving for. People are seeking depth, they're seeking skills, they're seeking development. And where I think that's going to come into a lot of play is having personal discipline, but then also where you choose to spend your time and that effort. Like I think hobbies that are going to start coming back again. My older brother has been really into chess lately, and it makes me think of that one TV show. I can't remember the name of it, but Queen's Gambit. It came to me. And that show where it's like people dedicate years to learning chess and being good at chess. You're not just good at chess when you pick up a piece and like move a pawn around. You have to be strategic. You have to have that knowledge, that effort, and years of practice to be good at it. And I think that's something I really admire about him, is that he's so good at really focusing in on things, having personal discipline. And like chess, that's so hard. And I don't even know how to play chess, honestly. And I think things like that are going to start to be popular again. He goes to chess nights and they go to different breweries, and it's something that's getting really popular again. Another thing I think is reading. I've been seeing so many people talk about reading, post about what they're reading. And reading is something where it takes your mind off of technology. You sit down. If you're reading romance novels, or if you're reading intellectual like self-help books, those are all things that you're going to be able to talk about and have deep, in-depth conversations with. That it's not just something, you can't just talk about a book you haven't read. You have to sit down and read that book. It's bringing back long-form thinking, and I think that's going to come into content, and long-form content is going to make a comeback, which I'm excited for as I'm exploring different forms of content and ways to share with you. All of those time-consuming hobbies are going to be popular again. The long-form content is coming back, and it's going to be a shift of not just throwing things out on the internet for people to see and grabbing, and what's this hook and how is it grabbing you in the 10-second video going viral. I think it's going to shift into episode type format, long produced, thought through content, and I'm so excited to see how that shifts content creation in the next couple of years. And in the fitness industry, something I think that is going to happen is the shift into having a strong built body. I think right now it's really easy with all the GLP-1s and the cheat codes of people just taking weight loss drugs, getting really skinny, getting to that 90s popular kind of body type. And I don't think that's going to last because one, it's not sustainable, it's not healthy. And two, anyone can take a GLP-1 and be super thin. Like, that's not hard. It's not what should be seen as popular or desired. It's going to be those strong bodies. It's going to be massive biceps, that six pack, showing that you were in the gym, putting in work, putting in hours, dedicating and having the discipline to your physical body. And that also goes into your mindset with how you talk, how you move, how you react. And I think that is going to gain a lot of popularity, and kind of our society is going to shift towards that, because showing that you can show up for yourself every day in the gym, even when you don't want to work out, and do that workout and have the positivity of those strong muscles after you do that workout is going to be desired more and kind of shift our society away from the super skinny kind of popular body. I know this is kind of a hard conversation to have. These are just my thoughts. If you don't agree, you do not have to agree. But I think it's something to think about next time you go to the gym or a fitness class, kind of noticing how people are acting with their personal discipline moving into the new year, saying they're going to work out, do all these workout programs. How long is that going to last? Are you going to be one of those people that quits in February, March, or are you going to be one of those people who has discipline and is consistent enough to stay in the gym the whole year, really challenge yourself, build up your strength, and physically be able to show that you are disciplined and that you show up for yourself? I think this shift towards discipline is also going to bring back personal responsibility. I think it's going to start to bring back, instead of rotting and doing nothing, scrolling on your phone, it's going to start to reward the people that are disciplined enough to create over consume and be able to sit down and really do the things and the work that they don't want to do. It's uncomfortable at first. Like, discipline is not easy, and you don't have to be disciplined in every single area of your life. That's impossible unless you have years and years of practice under your belt. Whereas you might be super disciplined in the gym with going to your workouts weekly and eating right, eating healthy, but you might not be disciplined in the way that you sit on your phone for an hour every night before you go to bed and you scroll. There's so many different areas, and I think that it's super important that you are able to identify that. So if you haven't really thought about it before, think about it. What 3 things could you do to be more disciplined in your life? Is that waking up a little bit earlier every single day, setting that alarm and actually getting up, not hitting snooze? Is it booking those workout classes 3 to 4 times a week, showing up ready to put in that discipline and take care of your body? Is it eating better, not stopping to eat out because it's more convenient, but being disciplined enough to come home and cook that meal? So I think about that. Think about like 3 things you could do this week and let me know what they are, because I think for me, I am working on not having coffee out as much. It's really easy to set up meetings or meet up with friends or post-workout, go grab a coffee. This week, I'm going to try to be really disciplined on not having coffee out. I have an espresso, making coffee at home. I'm starting tomorrow because today, after I coached 2 Pilates classes this morning, I did have a meeting for Balanced and we did get coffee. But I think that just being aware of that is going to help me be more disciplined this week. And I'm going to try this week not to get coffee out unless it's like a special occasion or out of my control. I don't know how it would be out of my control, but sometimes it just has to happen. So really finding that balance, because then again, I just already tried to like validate me breaking my discipline and I caught myself in that moment. So this is me saying I'm not getting coffee out for the rest of the week, and I'm going to be disciplined in doing that, because as you can see, it's so easy to talk yourself out of something. I literally just did that, not even on purpose. So that's my challenge for myself. Hold me accountable. If you see me this week, don't let me get coffee out, and set a goal for yourself that you're really going to be able to do and not talk yourself out of. Create a goal that's simple and something that is achievable. Not, I'm going to work out every single day, eat super healthy, not go on my phone. Like, you can't start on 10. We got to start at 1 or 2. Like, Come up with one thing this week, and then you can add on to that. It's the same as building habits. You can't say, I'm going to do all these crazy new habits, because then you're going to get burnt out, you're going to fall off, and it's going to be done by February. Whereas you have to start slow and build up so that you continue to build. You never stop building those good habits, but you're not overwhelming yourself to the way that you're going to fail and then have to reboot and reset. That's just not the smart way of doing things, and that's not how you build discipline and routines. So slowly, one thing at a time this week, come up with your thing, think about it. Something that I've been thinking about is, I don't know why, but lately I've been driving to work with like no music playing, or like anytime I get in the car. I think it's because I got a new phone and I don't have the cord adapter, so I can't play music in my car unless I like Bluetooth it, and honestly I don't even know how to do that. So I've been driving in silence, and I think that has made me realize how much I disassociate when I do things, or like I always have a TV show on when I'm cooking, or music on when I'm in the car, and I think that's just like slowly overstimulating myself. And driving without music is nice sometimes, or cooking and not listening to music or watching a show is nice, to be able to like really live in that moment. You realize how long the day is when you don't have your phone. When I was in Mexico, I didn't turn my data on, so unless I had Wi-Fi at the house, I wasn't on my phone at all. And it makes you realize how much time you truly spend on your phone subconsciously, and you don't even realize. So I think being able to cut that down and cut that out a lot will help in kind of pulling away from that 24/7 tie we have to technology in our phones is something that we need as a society. And I hope that this shift kind of pushes people into that direction. I know I need to be better about it, but little by little, we'll get there. As we start to create discipline in our everyday lives and really focus on that theme of discipline, we need to make sure that we continue to have a soft life, intentional, supportive, and self-positivity. I don't want this to become something where you're just like so hard on yourself about everything you're doing wrong, or if you're not disciplined one day, that it's going to reset you and you're going to have negative self-talk. That's not what this is about. This is an overarching theme, an overarching idea of your week. Again, taking it little by little. We're not overwhelming ourselves. It's so easy to do that, but we're taking structure, slowly implementing it into our lives so that it's successful. We're shifting from speed, quick, fast, and easy to what can be sustainable, and the habits and discipline that you can start now that will help you years down the line, and you'll be so grateful you started these things when you did. Building confidence and self-trust that you're going to show up for yourself. You're going to be disciplined enough to say, hey, you know what? I booked this workout class on Thursday. I'm going to go. I'm going to show up for myself no matter how tired I am. If I'm uncomfortable, if I'm nervous, if I'm scared to go, you're going to show up for yourself. And that's how you build self-trust, is being like, I'm going to do the things I promised myself. And it's easier said than done. And the easiest person to disappoint is yourself, because it's so easy to be like, oh, I'm just going to skip that workout, take the fee, and whatever. No one knows I was signed up for it, or like no one cares that I was going to go. But in all honesty, that's letting yourself down. So really trying to keep the promises that you make to yourself this next week, and just remind yourself, like, once you're about to switch up or not do something that you said you were going to do, is that going to disappoint yourself or other people? It's not about the convenience of what you're doing. It's about holding yourself to a higher standard. Creating habits that are going to help regulate and not restrict. It's not about how healthy you eat, and you're not going to eat anything else and restrict your diet down and just not eat because it's not healthy. That's not a good way to go about this. We're creating ways that we regulate our body, regulate our nervous system, and get back to the simple things of healthy that are going to help without restricting. Because if you restrict yourself and say, oh, well, I'm not going to go on my phone all day, that's not helpful either. How are you supposed to respond to text messages or your family and friends? Like, you need to find that happy middle and that medium ground so that you can be sustainable in your habits and discipline. I don't know about you, I'm a chronic oversharer. I love to share everything. If you know me, I will tell you just about anything you ask, and no matter what that information is, which I am trying to be better about, I'm learning that I don't need to share every little win to be validated. My discipline is not to be validated by others, but validated by myself. I can let my progress compound quietly. I don't need to be sharing every single thing because no one's going to understand my journey. There are things I love to share, obviously, and that I share with you guys about my journey, but there's also things that I don't need to seek validation. It can come from a way of sharing my journey, that how I'm building balanced, how I'm building things, how I'm creating events, how I'm creating something that I'm making up as I go, honestly, and that I don't need validation from others to think that I've finally made it or that things are working or not working. It's different for having a community versus finding validation. And I think once you realize who you surround yourself with and kind of how that affects your everyday life and mindset affects your community, choosing community over validation. I think that's what I'm trying to get at here, is that if you have a community that's strong, builds you up, supports you, share as much as you want, whatever. But if you're finding that you're sharing wins with people just because you're trying to get validation from others or seem cool, that's not what we're doing. We're getting rid of that. We're taking that discipline into not needing to be validated by others, because you're just going to continue to seek that. And honestly, no matter what you do, someone's going to be pissed off. Someone's not going to like it. And you just have to keep moving forward. So you can't start with letting others validate you, because it's so hard to turn around and stop doing that. I know with content, it's so easy to be validated by the numbers, the likes, the reshares, the reposts, how viral it goes. But if you start doing that, you're literally never going to stop. So quit it now. Stop it now. I'm also speaking to myself, but that's something I will be working on. Others' opinions that you care and you love matter. Random strangers on the internet do not. So I want you to think about what privacy gives you energy and fuels you. What ways can you seek validation from yourself versus others? Like, what ways are you subconsciously trying to validate yourself through others, and how you can shift that mindset into self-validation? And then think about different ways that your silence can be protective, like little things that you keep to yourself that you already do, and that helps protect you from negativity or others putting you down. How do you do that in your everyday life, or things that you already do? Not that you have to continue to start all these new things, but even think about things that you already do in your routine, how you're already disciplined, kind of thinking about how you may not have even realized, but you're so disciplined in one area, and how you can take that into a different aspect of your life. And of course, we are trying to balance discipline with softness. I'm not saying go out there, start a whole new life, a whole new routine, and change everything about yourself. It takes time, and little by little is how we are going to shift this. Discipline is knowing when to stop. I'm going to repeat myself. Discipline is knowing when to stop. I think that's huge, of like, stop, reset, listen to your body. If your body's sore, you do not have to work out 5 times a week. Like, it is okay to skip a workout because you don't feel good and you're nauseous. Like, there are things where discipline is coming in, stepping in for yourself and being like, no, I'm not gonna do that workout. I don't feel good. Things like that. You don't have to push yourself to the point of breaking just for others. You do not have to push yourself to the point of breaking just to appear disciplined. That's not being disciplined. That's not sustainable long term. It's not going to work. And again, we're building slowly so that we can continue to do great things over time. Rest is maintenance. I think switching my mindset from resting and rotting to like doing nothing, and that I'm just like taking a pause, and it's like as a negative thing, I'm shifting it into maintenance. Like, I'm taking the time it is necessary for me to have maybe an afternoon or even a day a week to be able to regroup, recenter myself, just take a moment and do nothing, because creative rot is necessary. And I think that's also something I've been thinking about, is I'm turning my rot into creative time, reading, journaling. Like, there is no reason rotting is just scrolling on your phone. There are so many ways to reset that don't have to do with sitting on your phone all day or watching TV. And that stillness is a part of your growth and ultimately going to help create that discipline in where you took a rest day. So now you can go to the gym tomorrow and give it your full effort and energy. Whereas if you didn't, you would be so sore you couldn't even do the right correct form, or you're falling out of movements because you didn't take the time to rest. And sometimes you need that day, and it doesn't matter what everyone else is doing. I think it's hard sometimes for myself is because I live such an inconsistent lifestyle. My outpatient nurse job is Monday through Friday, but it's 2 days a week. It's never the same 2 days. And then with content and the podcast and coaching Pilates, everything's always different, happening on different days. So some days everyone gets to rot on a Sunday and that's my busiest day. Or my rot day's on a random Tuesday or Wednesday like today. I coached this morning. I'm filming. I don't have plans for the rest of the day. I'm taking that as a productive rot. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to journal, read my book, take some time, find the silence and enjoy it versus honestly stressing myself out and giving myself anxiety, because I used to do that. Even when I was full-time nursing, not doing content, on my days off, I would stress myself out that other people were at work and I wasn't, and that I wasn't doing enough and I needed to be doing 10 other things. And that's just overbooking yourself and stressing yourself out for no reason. It is okay to have chill days. Nurses get to have chill days because they work 12-hour days, 12-hour nights. So you need that time to rest. And if you're not resting, you're going to wither away. And that's just not it. Trust me, I've been there. I've done that. And if you start to do that, it's really hard to stop. But once you do stop and take a breath, you're like, oh my gosh, my body, my mind, my soul needed this. And that's how you're going to fuel yourself to then take your discipline into those fun hobbies and do things that you really want to do, that you're passionate about, and what makes the purpose in your life. So at least one time this week, I want you to rest without feeling guilty. Whether that's going to bed earlier, reading your book, taking a full rot day, like take your whole Sunday, do nothing. Who cares? That is discipline. As long as you're doing it in a healthy way and it doesn't get out of hand and you're not just sitting scrolling on TikTok for 7 hours straight, it is okay. And that should be a goal, is to have scheduled rot time sometime this week. Put it in your Google Calendar or whatever calendar you use right now and literally title it Creative Rot Time. Let ideas come naturally and just kind of see how you flow, how you feel when you're just sitting in silence and you're like, oh my gosh, what creative things come to your brain when you genuinely have nothing to do, and enjoy that moment. We're so busy. Everything is so busy, so fast all the time. You have to be able to enjoy that little sliver of not being overstimulated and chill so that you can keep up with everything else going on in your life on the outside after that. We are making sure to reframe discipline as devotion. We're devoting our time to our bodies, our physical health, our mental health. We're reading our books. We're learning hobbies that take time. Chess, reading, ping pong, as Marty Supreme does. I don't know. I'm actually really excited to see the movie later because I feel like people either like love it or hate it. So I'm really intrigued to see how that goes. But we are focusing on patience, on effort and depth. Really, that's what discipline is. It's depth, taking the time, committing to yourself, committing to the plan, and building quietly. It doesn't need to be go, 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 overstimulating, super fast gratification all the time. It can be slow. It can be chill. It's okay. And I'm speaking to myself when I say that because I'm the queen of overbooking myself. I'm always busy. I'm always doing 10,000 things. And that stops now. I've been working. I've been building out a schedule. So like my set schedule is the balance stuff. Episode drops every Wednesday. We film the Monday before. I have my reels scheduled. I have my posts scheduled. And that is something I can completely take off of my plate and chill because that's set. I set the system and I can let it go. Find something or an area in your life where you can set up a system so that your discipline is showing up doing what you said you would do, but it's the same every time you do it. And then you know you can be excited and that you're disciplined in that area because you set up the system behind the scenes and you took the time, sat down, really thought it through, came up with the plan, and you let it run. So now you can create and do whatever you need to do on those days. Just like, okay, Tuesdays are going to be my Pilates days. I know I'm going to show up, I'm going to have a workout, and I'm going to leave, and I'm going to be proud of myself that I was disciplined enough to show up for myself. Every time I post a balance episode, I'm proud of myself for committing the week before to film and getting it together and being able to post ahead of time and on schedule. And if you fall off, it's fine. There's a level of being too hard on yourself where if you miss a day or you're a day late, you're going to get angry. And that's just not the point of this. That's not what we need to be doing. It's having the patience, putting in the effort, and really working with yourself. Like being in charge of yourself to a point where your discipline comes from yourself. No one's going to know about it but yourself. So you have to promise yourself that you're going to show up for you. When you're taking your time to reset, rot, and creatively charge, I love instrumental music. My favorite playlist on Spotify right now is Reading Romance, no vocals. So it's instrumental versions of really good songs, and it's all piano, and it just like sets the vibe. If you're journaling, if you're reading, if you need something that's not going to overstimulate you, you should listen to that playlist and that kind of instrumental music, because I feel like it just adds such a good vibe to the room and good energy without being overstimulated. You don't catch yourself listening to the lyrics, like thinking off into space about other things. It just makes everything seem more intentional, and I absolutely love it. It truly is all about balance. So as you're choosing your areas where you can be more disciplined, you're writing it out in your journal, I want you to remember that you can find luxury in the little things. Discipline is the new luxury. We're really shifting our mindset into a slower life, slower, softer pace. And it is just about how you're showing up for yourself, how you're committing to the bit. You're committing to something that you want to do. And that's how you're finding your purpose. That's how you're feeling fulfilled. And we're completely shifting into that discipline mindset. We are really focusing on that mindset shift this week. I can't wait to hear about all the ways you were disciplined and how you're shifting your week and really creating a luxury life with your discipline. Follow the socials on Instagram, TikTok, and then where we post the episodes on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple. I will see you guys all next week. We have a very exciting guest, so make sure you stay tuned. I will see you all next week on Balanced with Bailey. Love ya. Bye.